we are running uphill and then downhill, something to be aware of. That's new. Don't be shy to kill the engine if you need to. Centered up. Back up. Point on the horizon. Take deep breaths. Off we go. Don't want to get near horses. So we are up. Still a little bit bumpy. Right. We are going to turn this way. We are going to climb into the wind. Nice gentle climb. Tonight I want to tell a little thought process I've been going to. So once I get to kind of a comfortable altitude and I'm headed kind of straight into the wind on a path that I know, we are going to talk a little bit about this weekend's flight. Kind of a story of learning, really. The sports complex is over here, but they're playing soccer, so I want to avoid it. Nothing will distract a group of kids. More than a guy flying a butt fan. Around their game. So try and be respectful of the coaches, of the kids playing, so that we don't lose our distraction. So we are not going to go near the soccer field today. We're going to play over here. This is into the wind. There are a ton of outs. It'll give me an opportunity to maybe tell a little story about this weekend. Some thoughts that I've had as my progression as a beginner really starts to take shape. Kind of about the kind of pilot I want to be, which first and foremost has always been a safe one. Not only, and most importantly, because I have a wife and children and a family, and being safe for them is a pretty high responsibility. So, as I continue to progress in my learning, I absolutely want to make sure that my children are always first and foremost in the types of things, the types of flying that I'm willing to do. We're about 1,200 feet AGL right here. So, aside from it being a beautiful evening, the bumps seem to have smoothed out up here at about 1,200. So I got that going for me. we're going to go on a nice level cruise into the wind and talk a little bit about this Saturday evening's flight. So each time I fly, I'm trying to learn something new, something that might help make me a better, a safer, a more confident pilot. That being said, this Saturday I had decided it was time to incorporate my flight deck. And what I wanted to do was use it to be able to verify my vario altitudes with what I visually think is going on. Because in prior flights, I found myself to not be a strong judge of altitude. It is my job to be aware of all the different points of South Bend's controlled airspace, Elkhart's controlled airspace, and where I can fly and how I can fly. And being able to visually judge seemed like a really good idea. So that was really my one mission. Hey, let's incorporate the flight deck. Let's make sure, first and foremost, it doesn't impede your run, getting out of your harness, all of that good stuff. And let's fly around safely, as you've been doing. And guess at the altitude, and then check out the vario. And see if you can't start picking up some clues as to how to get better. Scanning for outs right now. Pretty nice. Pretty nice. Oh, look at that pretty field. Almost in the shape of a baseball diamond down there. So, anyway, I go out, and it's a beautiful evening for flying. Ground wind is about 5 or 6. The thermals had all but died by about 5:30. It was a beautiful Indian summer day here in Michigan, and I was excited to fly. I felt good. I felt confident. And I went out, and I attached the flight deck and had the vario there. And then I added my phone into the vario's bag as opposed to the side pocket on my harness. What I've been doing is I've been turning on the Skyfly High app, recording my flights, well, when I remember to, by having the phone in the side pocket. It also seemed like a good idea to add it to the flight deck, just in case there's ever a reason why I might need to make a call. One of the things about the Garmin Verb is it says it can attach the mic to the camera at the same time as the phone, and that the phone would take precedence. And indeed it will connect, but it continually drops both things off and on, so it's not a perfect technology. Oh, little bumps up here. I think we're going to go down a little bit. I had gained a little bit of height just so I could clear this little stretch of forest, but I think I've got plenty. So we're going to come off a little bit, coast down. So anyway, see if I can lower my voice. When my motor's not running, I probably don't need to be so loud with it. So anyway, I got out, and got up, and the flight started just the way I wanted it to. It was a good launch, forward launch. I did have 2 failed reverse attempts, not because I did it poorly, but because everything my instructor told me would happen when you wear a camera and do your first reverses happened, and both times I caught the lines. Well, the first time I caught the lines in my camera. The second time I tried this Muhammad Ali head bob, and all I managed to do with that was get uncomfortable and out of running position. So it's something I'm going to work on. Good news is on non-flyable days, you can still put your motor on, keep the engine off, keep your line safe, and maybe practice some reverses if the conditions warrant. So that's my goal in the future, to get better at that. So anyway, back to my story. I was cruising along and paying attention to my altitudes because I knew I was under the shelf of South Bend airspace in the first part of my flight. And then it struck me, hey, you know what? I'd kind of like to see what that looks like. And I started messing with my phone to get the app open. And then for some reason, when the app was open, it would keep blacking out. So I messed with that for a while. And there I was, and I was paying attention. I was weight shifting. I was looking for outs. But for the first time, I was looking down at my phone. And that wasn't part of my mission. That wasn't part of what I had said I was set out to do. I said I was going to look at my vario, compare altitudes, and that was going to be the addition. I was going to have my flight deck squared away, and I was going to have my vario. But I got up there and was feeling good and grabbed my phone. Everything went fine with that. Didn't have a problem. It was a beautiful, calm day. It was mostly hands-off flying. It didn't take much, but didn't take much just to float around and weight shift. It was beautiful. Didn't seem like a big deal at the time, right? We always grab our phone. And it wasn't tethered yet because I hadn't planned on using it, right? I have a tether system in a case, but it wasn't tethered for that flight, and yet I had it in my hands. That's stupid. Now, people do it, and I'm not calling their actions stupid. They have more experience. Turns out, during the flight, I decided I also wanted to, hey, let's do what everybody does. Let's take a selfie while I'm flying around. That'll be cool. So I held the phone out, took a selfie. Fantastic. Took a couple of them, really. And then I have the phone out, and the flight's going so well, and everything's going so well, and I'm feeling so good, and I'm right there with my phone. And I know a lot of my non-flying friends on Facebook have expressed interest in what it is that I'm doing. Hey, I got an idea. Let's Facebook Live. So I did that. Turned my Facebook Live app on, flew around a bit, decided that, hey, I was going to go over by the high school. There's been something that I had been working on previous flights, and it's not a challenging thing. And I wasn't as close as it looked, but I had seen much more experienced pilots play around like the field goals and kind of flying through. And I thought, well, I want to fly over. I have a huge football stadium. It's got several hundred yards of clearance on either side. It's just a flight. It's just flight level flight. I've practiced it. I've gone around it. I've circled it. I can do this. So I added that too. Now start thinking about this. It's a lot of things I'm adding to this flight. Everything went perfect. Everything was great. but it's a lot of things that I was adding to the flight, right? And I don't know how smart that is. In fact, that's not a truthful statement. I spent Sunday after landing. Oh, by the way, I went back and then got down low in a field, saw some deer, and was just doing my normal thing, perfectly safe stuff, until I thought, well, this would be fun to share. And I had been sharing, so that's now just a thing that I do, right? So back to Facebook Live again, right? And when I landed, it was a nil wind landing as I came in. The terrain in my LZ can get a little lumpy, so it's a little more challenging than maybe I would like on some of my landings. And I ran it out, and it felt good, and everything went well, and I was on a high. I started posting my stuff to Facebook, doing quick little videos, talking to people. What did you think? Oh, it was awesome, that kind of thing. And I was on a post-flight high. I hope that stays with me throughout my career, by the way, because every flight gives me a post-flight high. And, oh, gosh, that is gorgeous. I landed that night, had all the video, rewatched everything. I was feeling so good about myself until the next day. And the next day I was watching the video, and I started thinking about where I'm at in my progression. And where I'm at, I mean, really, it's just 2 handfuls of flight beyond graduation from my training program. I have zero business flying the way that I flew yesterday. And I got really down on myself and really started thinking about my decision-making process, because up till that point, I don't know that I've made bad decisions. I've been very conservative on weather. I've been very vigilant trying to learn about weather. It was never really a thing for me before, but it's a thing for me now. No, I didn't fall on my knees. It's just a dirty field. I honestly and truly felt stupid for having flown the way that I flew. So first and foremost, I want to apologize to those of you in my community, because I don't think that was a strong representation of the sport. And I'm not saying that if any of you are doing it, that there's anything wrong with it. But for me, where I am in my progression, I need to be eyes up, learning my area, learning my outs, getting a strong feel for the wing, maybe, slightly increasing by a few minutes every day if I want to increase my bump tolerance. These are the things that I need to be doing. And I need to get back on, hey, if you're going to add something, it's one thing. It's one thing to add so that you're staying safe and you're not putting yourself or the community of flyers or your family in a position where your stupidity caused bad things to happen. Bad things can happen without being stupid, but stupid leads to most of them. And I was stupid. So, plan to post this video and remind myself to watch it anytime that I'm thinking about doing something different. Because I do want to remain safe. And I am not an experienced pilot. I had, quite frankly, I'm horrifically embarrassed with my actions. So I think I'll leave it there. I whipped myself on Sunday all day long, but I wanted to put it on video. So that's that. Now let's talk to you about where we're at. Up ahead, that is Diamond Lake in Cassopolis, Michigan. I don't think I'm actually going to go there because the winds are supposed to die off a little bit. I'm currently maybe doing about 24 miles an hour, so they're not super strong in my face, but I wanted to get away from all those athletic games so that I didn't disturb the kiddos. Besides, this is a beautiful flight, and look at all these outs. This whole trip has just been, I can land there, I can land there, I can land there, I can land there. I prefer the beans over the corn, but that's that. You know what? I think I'm going to stop this video here because this video really isn't about, look at all this cool stuff. This video is really about a mea culpa, an apology to my community and myself and all of that. So that's been done. Y'all fly safe. Have a great evening. And for those of you up here in the north, let's get out when we can still enjoy this beautiful stuff. Peace.